Alright, so Marburg virus is set to arrive in the United States within the next 8 weeks. That's our projection. So, on October 4th, an emergency broadcast alert is supposed to hit everybody's cellular devices in the entire country. Your phone will be unlocked. You will not be able to prevent this. Even if your phone is dead, the battery is dead, then when you power it back up, you're going to get this emergency broadcast alert message. And basically, it's going to whip everybody into a frenzy about what's to come. They may not come right out and say that this is what this is going to be, but it's to prepare you, and it's to get everybody riled up and fearful. Now, our source, one of our sources, Pennies from Heaven in Tampa, she says, if you're a Christian, do not live in fear. You have Jesus in your heart. This is all biblical prophecy, all this stuff that's happening right now because we are in a pre-tribulation period. Now, let's get back to Marburg virus. What it is it's a hemorrhagic type of fever. And it's already been in African nations. On June 8th, it ended in Equatorial Guinea. On June 22nd, the country of Guyana got it for the first time. It was all cooked up in a lab. We already know that, just like the last pandemic. They're trying to say it originated from bats. We know that's not true, obviously. And the number 88 comes up a couple times. So the Centers for Disease Control, when they define what Marburg virus is, they say it's a hemorrhagic type of fever, and it'll have an up to 88% fatality rate. Bill Gates, laughing, says that we're not going to be laughing during this next pandemic, which is a big slap in the face considering they all touted how bad the last one was supposed to be, right? When I was in the Army, I screamed it from the rooftops. I told everybody when they were doing the rodeos for people, literally called them rodeos, and lined people up like hogs in a trough and said, you don't have a choice, you have to get it. And I told them, you always have a choice. I said, don't get it. Talking about the jabs. But the whole plan with Marburg virus is basically, yes, to kill people off. We came across a video today from a spokesperson for the New World Order that brazenly just said we need to kill millions and billions of people. We need to reduce the world's population. So, yeah, obviously, that's what they've been planning all along. We already know that. But another thing is they want to take away your ability to vote. And if they can take away your ability to vote by making it all mail-in ballots, which they've already been trying to do, then of course it's easier for them to cheat and steal another election, just like they did the last time with Senator Biden. He's not the real president, we already know that, but they're scared of Trump. That's why it's been a witch hunt on him the entire time. Now, on the emergency broadcast alerts that are projected to hit our phones on October 4th, which is 88 days away from the end of the year, just like the fatality rate of up to 88% for the Marburg virus, which is the definition by the Centers for Disease Control. This message was actually pushed out to the phones of residents of 3 nations today: Spain, Germany, and Italy. So we're actually not the first to receive this message. It's a global thing, just like the last pandemic was. We already know. The World Health Organization says that Ebola has a fatality rate of up to 80%, and they also mirror that Marburg will have a fatality rate in the high 80 percentile range. Of course, it's to whip everybody into a frenzy, and Bill Gates has his money in it. We already know that. We're not stupid. He's done a lot of evil things, and this is all part of the plan. This is going to be actually worse than the last one was, I think, in terms of the reaction. So people are going to be living in fear. They're going to be looting and rioting just like they did last time, but it's going to go on longer. And it's not just going to be bare shelves Biden. It's going to be a lot of grocery stores are going to have probably next to no food, is my supposition, is my guess. We'll have to wait and see how it plans out, but we're projecting that this virus is going to hit the United States of America within the next 8 weeks. And just like last time when they tried to enforce the mask wearing, we know from the Spanish influenza of 1918, it was no influenza. It was people died from the mask wearing, bacterial meningitis, because they were breathing their own carbon dioxide and bacteria in. And when the last pandemic came out, One of our Jamaica sources, he actually, when I was in the Army, he took a mask and took a microscope, put the mask under it, and he saw what are called morgellons. Morgellons are the tiny little creatures that look like microscopic worms and they move around. Those were burrowing into our faces when we were wearing the masks. You didn't know it, but a lot of people would come up itching and stuff. Well, that was a lot of the cause of that. Happened all the time. My coworkers in the Army, they made us wear the masks. They said, yeah, these masks make my face itch like crazy. And everybody just thought it was the fuzz on the white part of the mask. No, a lot of it was the morgellons. And people would rewear the masks over and again, and some of them would be really dirty on the other side. So I tried to tell people, but we didn't have a choice. They forced us, and that one I couldn't get away from. But I did shear away from the cotton swabs, which had ethylene glycol on it, and it was nothing but false positives and fake results. So even the inventor of those cotton swabs came right out and said these weren't designed for this purpose. They cannot confirm the veracity of whether there was a real virus present in the body or not. It was to break your blood-brain barrier with the long ones that first came out, and I had one of those put up my nose when I was in the field in the Army. I was the very last one to go, and I wish I wouldn't have even reported for it, but they made me do it. So, with all that being said, we do know, additionally, that they've been preparing us for a lot of things here in the last several years, and when I say several, I mean really about 2 to 3. We've had robots filling in for human workers at Qualcomm Stadium in the San Diego Chargers football arena, or stadium, I should say. And that's just very recently, here in the last, week or so. Some company had these robotic workers, and they were moving like they had AI and everything, technology, and that's what they were. They were robots, and it's scary because they're replacing us. The digital dollar is taking shape already. You don't see it, but it's happening. Some stores are already phasing out cash registers right now, and that's supposed to take effect in the next two years, maybe 3. There won't be cash registers in any stores anymore. So be prepared. A lot of you guys have already progressed to the tapping of the cards from the swiping and the insertion of the chips. And some people are already paying on their watches, their Apple Watches and stuff. So it's getting pretty scary out there. But just be prepared. If you're Christians, our Indiana source, Chris Privet, he says Christians are spared most of the wrath. Right now we're still in the pre-trib period. But we're progressing out of the pre-trib into the tribulation here pretty soon. And you're going to see it happen. One bit of good news I have for you guys is look to the sky right now. There's a comet that's in the skies right now, and this is a biblical prophecy, and I'm going to highlight that on our next episode of Between Heaven and Hell here on Sunday night at 9 o'clock. And it's already visible to the naked eye. On Sunday, when we debut our show, it is going to reach perihelion, which means that the comet is at its closest point to the sun. And the reason that it's going to be so visible is because the sun, with it being at its closest point to the sun, it's going to be melting all the ice and debris off, and you're going to see that long tail as it loops around and comes around the other way and becomes dimmer and fainter out of view. So look at that and just know that that's a sign of good hope, because Jesus said before his return there will be signs in the skies. And we're going to tell you why this might be one of those signs. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. We appreciate all your support. And we'll be here with much more information. There's so much going on, and I'd love to tell you guys all about it. Stay tuned. Thanks for the support. We love you. And until next time, Godspeed.